February marks a busy time for Kings and the student body. As student body president campaigns begin, we look back at the year in review with current SBP Brent Buterbaugh. Brent, it seems like not that long ago you were here with ESTv talking about your campaign. How does it feel to know that your time is going to round out at the end of this year and there's going to be a new SBP?
Yeah, it's a mixture of emotions, obviously. I am definitely more excited to go to this not having the stress of the campaign. It's been a lot of fun. There's still a couple months left, so a couple things I still really want to do, but it's been a really enjoyable time, and it's made this year very fulfilling for me.
Aside from serving this year as SBP, you served on Lewis's House Exec team as Chamberlain, worked with the Guest Experience Department, you served on the cabinet last year as Director of Student Orgs, among many other roles of leadership. Is there anything you didn't get to accomplish while at Kings?
Well, it's no secret that I really wanted to be Lewis president. So that's always, I think, in my mind, the role that got away. It was disappointing for me in a lot of ways because I love the House of Lewis. I've still been able to be involved. I've seen a lot of my friends in leadership in Lewis. And looking back from where I am now, I would not have been in a strong position to be able to lead as student body president if I was President Lewis rather than Director of Student Organizations.
What do you say was one of the biggest accomplishments of this year?
Other than poetry, which again, that's number one, the thing that I always like to point to, engagement with athletics. That was one of the things I ran on last year. I still think there's a lot of ways, a lot of new initiatives we can do with that to encourage people to be involved. But the things I'm really proud of are that we took students to go see volleyball games and basketball games, took them out to Rainbow Valley to watch soccer, and I think that is something that we can continue to do and build upon.
When EST spoke with you in September, you said, quote, "I want to make sure that everyone at Kings feels heard and feels welcome. And that means making sure that I'm hearing every part of the student body and making their voices heard to the council and to the administration." How has the council facilitated in achieving that?
There's two parts to that. There's one, what can I do as a representative of the students? And what can the council do? In terms of student body, we've been doing a lot. Our town halls we do every other week to communicate, hey, here's what's happening at the council level. Inviting people to show up at council meetings, emphasizing with the House presidents their responsibility to collect input and thoughts from their House to bring those to the table when we're in council meetings. The other thing is what can I do personally? When I'm sitting in the meetings that I'm sitting in every week, I sit in the COVID task force, I'm sitting in the student development, talking about everything that's happening from a student life perspective. And the third one is the president's cabinet. The president gives this meeting, which he runs. I get to hear the updates in different parts of the school, and I get to make my voice heard. So whenever I hear something from a student, I have the ability to go into any of those three meetings and say, hey, this is what I'm hearing from students based upon this policy. Could we make this adjustment? This is what I'm hearing surrounding House competitions, House culture, and I can give an insight into what's happening to students. There's always more that we can do, and I'm excited to see some of the new candidates' ideas for going the next step.
What advice do you have for the person who's going to step in after you?
With a student body as small as ours, the culture can change very fast. That can be in good ways, that can be in bad ways. So I think what's going to be important for the student body president next year to have is have a strong vision of where it should be. A lot of that begins with how they select their cabinets. I'm so thankful for people who are on my team this year because they've done just a wonderful job in every way. Next year's SBP is going to have to make a lot of these decisions before they know who the freshman class is going to be. And they have to structure events and plan for things before they know who they have. So they have to have an ability to cast a vision, but also an ability to be adaptable to whatever circumstances come their way.
On that question, Brent, what sort of legacy or impact do you hope to leave at Kings?
Well, I love the metaphor of the bird pillar. I love the picture of you're building upon people's accomplishments and you're not making it for your name. My goal for my legacy is that in 4 years, people don't remember me, but they get to experience Fall Retreat. They get to experience the traditions of 2 cents, the traditions of campus community going on and supporting the Lions. They get to experience a robust and functional council that supports the needs of the students. I'm not concerned that I'm the one who gets the credit for that. Student leadership really is not about you or your own personal legacy. So it should be about what this community is doing for its students and what this community is doing for the human race.
Student body president candidates will be announced Friday, February 11th. Be sure to follow EST and ESTv for updates during the campaigns.